Hi Gary, here we are again down at Docklands, a beautiful sunny day.
Certainly is, Ron. You wouldn't think it's winter, would you?
No, Gary, one of the issues that often gets talked about by people wanting to go boating, I think they get scared off by having to actually back a boat and then retrieve it at the end of the day. There's all the questions of who's driving the car, who's helping getting it on and getting it off. How does the club deal with all of that?
Yeah, good question, Ron. It's pretty much stress-free with the club. Is that you just walk on, walk off. It's actually the boats are wet berthed, and you just turn the ignition key and off you go. So there's no actual complex manoeuvring and deciding, who's going to get the car, who's going to back it in, and it's quite stressful to launch a boat at a ramp. First of all, you've got to find a parking spot, and that can be really stressful. And the last thing you want is a ticket at the end of the day because you've parked illegally. And then there's a lot of peer pressure to reverse the boat down the ramp into the water because people are in a hurry and they don't, people aren't patient or understanding. You think, someone's having difficulty, they're going to give a hand. Well, you just get dirty looks, and families don't need that pressure. And then you're coming back at the end of the day, you're tired, and then you've got to retrieve the car, retrieve the trailer, and then lift up the boat and wait in a queue again. With us, you don't have that. There are no queues.
Is this one of the things that your members actually raise with you when they come to discuss joining the club?
That's right, Ron. And then they look at the cost of ownership and say, well, if I buy a boat for up to let's say $50,000 boat, then they're doing the numbers of the cost associated with that boat compared to a subscription fee of, let's say, $12,000 a year, and there's no depreciation. And
what about the maintenance cost?
Yeah.
Do your members have to pay for the maintenance, or is that all in the subscription?
Yeah, so they don't pay for any wear and tear at all. So there is no hidden costs. All they do is pay for the fuel they've used. And included in the subscription is training. So we're very paramount about training. You cannot take a boat unless you've had one-on-one instruction, and it could be up to 10 hours, and that's included in the membership.
The other thing is people, I gather you just don't send them out on the first time. You have someone go with them for a couple of times to make sure they're all comfortable.
Yeah, that's right, Ron. We have our training, and then what we do is we have one of our member drivers now go out with a member for the first outing and see how they handle it. They just blend in with the crew and join in, but they'll step in if need be. It's just like the training wheels on a bicycle for a young child. We assume members know nothing about boating. They may have a lot of experience, they may not have any experience. We just don't assume anything. But our trainers can tell what level of proficiency they've got, so they can safely handle the boat.
And the issue of just general safety, this is an issue, and I gather people say, "Oh, what happens if the boat stops and we can't get it started?"
Yep.
Or we have something that we need to get some help with. How does the club deal with that?
Yep, good question, Ron. We have a response team, so we have 24-hour hotline support on these vessels. So whatever questions need to be asked can be asked, so they can phone through. And the other thing what we do is all these boats are tracked in real time. So if a member does get into strife, we know exactly where the boat is, and we can tell the authorities where it is. The member doesn't even have to tell us. We know where the boat is, and it's a great safety aid to have that sort of tracking. And the other thing what we do now is we actually give members a complimentary iPad with navigation software on it. Technology has come a long way in a very short time, and with technology you can actually set up for the member where they want to go, and they just follow the line where they need to go, and it keeps them out of harm's way. That's just a recent add-on, because we're always looking at constant and never-ending improvement in our business, how we run the club. And by having that technology, it's really opened up the bay for members. They feel a lot more certain where to go because of technology now, that they can just plot their journey.
Gary, once again, thanks very much for some very good information about the very special club at Dockland. Been here for 10 years.
That's right, Ron. 10-year anniversary.